Available at all fine Sinclair superstores.
This is good. But what is best in life?
The open steppe, free falls, falcons at your wrist, and the wind in your hair.
Wrong! Conan, what is best in life?
To crush your enemies, destroy other lands, and to cast Gurmag Ingla for 1 mana.
That is good. That is good.
Hello everyone. Hey, it's me, Deluxe, and I'm surrounded by some of the masks I've done in the past. Let me just double check the audio. I've got yet, for the second week in a row, a very different setup. I'm in the kitchen. Okay, looking and sounding all right, I guess. Maybe not looking, but sounding. All right, so I make a lot of masks. I used to make a ton, but I got actually too many of them. And after each friend gets one or whatever, and some relatives that don't mind creepy macabre stuff on the wall, then these things happen. So I just kind of slowed down my thing. This is the one my son's fond of wearing. I've got a gold mask here that I might be going for more of the color for a gray merchant here. I just kind of did a nice swoop attack with the nose, and it's neat on the backside. You can just see you just wear it and such. I got little riddles and mythologies with each one. Then I gone really creepy with like barbecue brushes. And then for even the eyebrows, it's like this pig decor. The dirtier, the better. And just kind of a lord of filth if he was a magic card. I think that's actually what I named that mask. And then set these over here. More on that in a second. And then this one, my son's fond of wearing at Halloween. He's just like this. There's rivets in the nose. And it's just a pretty cool mask if you wear all black with it and stuff like that. So anyway, these are just a few. This is like maybe 3 of the 50 that I've made. And it's been a while, but I figured I've always really liked, and this is a bust of my face from a long time ago. It's cracked and weathered really, really bad. This is like probably weighs about 5 or 6 pounds thanks to Odin Makes, the YouTube channel Odin Makes. He long time ago, before there was even YouTube, there were things called ICQs and stuff like that. I went under with straws up my nose, and he made a full bust. And so it really helps, because what I wanted to point out is if you don't have one of these, which 99% of the population doesn't, you use, ta-da, petroleum jelly. And you put it on your eyebrows and your hairline, and you do it, you just do what I'm doing here, but here, and just be very aware of the breathing. Either keep your mouth open for a half mask, or if you want to go full, make sure you do the nose last and fine tune it last. Sorry, I'm ignoring the chat, but anyway, nice camera angle, homie. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm just got everything. It's funny because if you set up the camera that you're shooting the table with and you jiggle anything, it's got to be a different element than what's holding it. Otherwise, everything shakes. So today we're going to be doing this off of the newest, let's see, Magic the Gathering card. What am I trying to say here? I really like the new mask. I'm not fond of the old one. I don't think it's all that, it's not bad. It just looks like some sort of like walrus on steroids. So, and how we're going to be doing this today. So let me break this down. I can actually look at the camera for once. This is kind of nice. I mean, not looking at the game and look like my eyes are a little offset. So, we're going to be making this mask in 3 steps. Today we're going to be doing pretty much, I haven't coughed all week. That was the first time. Today we're going to be doing like just the architecture, the structure. It's not going to look like much, just the bare bones. And I got to let that dry for a couple days. So I figured we'll do that today. And then next week we'll fine tune it with some clay and get it looking a lot more like this. And then the last day we'll fine tune it and paint it. And so it'll be a 3-part. So for the next 3 weeks, just a Pauperganda experiment. It's I probably will be playing in the challenge this Sunday, but I'll probably play my Crypt Gift deck because I've just been squishing people with that thing. It doesn't matter who I play. It just seems like it wins. Except mono black. It seems to fitting that we're going against this. And last night I won the local draft. So I'm high as a kite. Anyway, so this is what I'm using. I'll get you. If you go to any sort of hobby shop, they have something like this, and it has a mask right on the cover. But you got to be real careful with this because it's as strong as like a cast. If you break your arm, or if you've seen somebody break their arm or whatever, I think it's just the three of us. How sad! Our coverage has just gone down to us. But I think, and if everybody's waiting for this to upload on YouTube, it might not. I'm tired of not being able to show a lot of the funniest skits, and I'm probably going to wait to upload this till all three of them are done, and then I'll edit it together to a mask show. Because of that reason, I get to run an experiment where I'm going to show illegal footage that Twitch doesn't mind, but YouTube does. And I'll test to see if I can upload it, because YouTube has a feature now where you can just chop out video, so it can do the editing for me. So I'll see how that does before I make it public or whatever. But with that being said, we're going to start. What you need, other than the stuff and a place that you don't mind getting dirty, is just lukewarm water, which we've got here. And you're wondering what the tin foil is for. Well, when you have one of these, that tends to be what I use it for. I've already cut the strips into this size piece. It comes kind of like this size all rolled up, and I cut it down the middle. I've found over probably 50 masks now that having this is 99% of the size you want for a mask. You want a few little bits in there for just fine-tuning areas around the nose and the eyes and stuff like that, but a lot of that's done in the next show too, so we'll fine-tune from there. But so I'll show you how the foil works here. And again, this show people might be like, oops, what's that got to do with magic, and that sucks or whatever, and then we'll address it then. But for right now, we're going to go here. Now what you want to do, if you do have one of these, I like to give a lot of area right towards in here on the bridge of the nose. If your face was a planet, it would be the mountain range, because it's just the biggest definition point there. And I've got a chunk taken out of my nose from dropping this once, so it doesn't really affect anything other than the inside of the mask. And as we grow older, they say your nose gets larger, so it's kind of a strategic drop. And you don't want to pull because it'll tear, so I just kind of crunch and munch around the edges here, and we'll end up, anybody a fan of the 80s cartoon G.I. Joe, you'll start to notice I start looking like Destro from G.I. Joe. He had that silver face, if I remember right. And we'll try to get some lip definition, because it's nice when you wear a mask. Obviously, this is my face, so it'll fit perfectly. There's sometimes I can get this so snug. Sorry if the mic is... I got the mic right here, so I hope it's not... the audio sounding good and all. Anyway, hopefully it's not making too much noise when I move around here. But I've had some masks where I can almost wear them without any support, like a string or anything like that. So we've got this going here. I'll iron some of these parts out here. It's probably not going to be that long of a show today. But like I said, stick around, even you hardcore regulars, which is I think all our audience is, at least live. We have a lot of Upright Citizen Brigade skits that we normally don't show, because when I make something, for every video I make, there's like 3 that don't make YouTube because it's too recent or it's not old enough. I guess that means the same thing. And you got to I just put them in like a copyright folder where it's like, well, this isn't working no matter what I try. But today I said, screw it, we're gonna have a lot of new stuff to look at, so we'll see how it goes. Sound good? No issues, no clipping and background noise such. All right, cool, pretty clear. Alrighty, so we've got a little bit of extra crap on the side here, but because the way this mask looks, it kind of fans out there. I'm thinking this is kind of bevel a little bit. I don't mind if it sticks a little bit there. I don't think it's worth another layer of foil. So I'm just gonna kind of keep rolling like this. It's okay if it'll pop off. Now so next week we'll come back and we'll take it off. We'll peel the things off. We don't put much material here. We'll put maybe one thing. You can almost poke through it with your finger at that point, but we'll cut them out and then we reinforce it. We'll talk about that next week, but this one actually might not be that long of a show because but again, if this is a person's face, you rub the Vaseline here along the hairline. It's probably good. It's so messy that it's not like you're going to go to dinner afterwards. So get a thin layer and just put it everywhere. Trust me, it'll come off. And then when you feel it hardening, it's actually very therapeutic. It'll be on. Obviously, I guess I need more coffee. Hold on a minute. My brain's not firing on all cylinders. Anyway, so it'll be on. And what you want to do, obviously keep your airways open, but you lean forward. Something about the blood and everything will come out, just kind of loosen, and then gravity will do its thing. And then just kind of make a bunch of squishy faces and try to move every muscle in your face little by little. And you'll feel it just coming off like tectonic plates. And then, it'll you just kind of wiggle, and then it'll come off. You want to probably wait 20 minutes to a half hour for it to really harden. But it's anybody that's had like a mask done, meaning like the makeup mask or like, for your skin or whatever, it's pretty similar feeling. It's a lot more concrete. So you got to be real careful. Careful too. One time a couple of times now, I've made an entire pumpkin helmet because I'm bald, and it's a very big advantage when you make masks. And so I just greased up, did this, and then I kept going. And what happened was the ridge of my eye and my nose, I had it all set, and I'm all, this is going to be awesome. And I almost had a panic attack because I almost couldn't get it off. And you imagine something as hard as an arm cast. So I just was able to wiggle out of it, and then I had to carve out the nose so I could slip it on and off a lot more easy. So be really careful with, do it in steps, because you can always add stuff to it, and always wait to paint till the end there. So here we go. We've got, the back of this is just hollow and riddled with like spiders and age. My brother, funny side story, I should have done it when it was white because it's a little scarier. But my brother, I gave this to him when I was done making a lot of masks. And I was like, I'll just use my head like the old days and no big deal. And he put it in his garden, and that's why it looks so kind of pocked with weather and age and everything like that. And it was funny because we used to, when I'd stay the night at his place, we would like wait for the gardener to show up, and we'd watch outside of the blinds and act like nobody was home. And every once in a while, because the ivy was all over it, and he'd, be going around, and he'd always get a jump, just this face staring at you in the in the white there. So it's not paper mache sushi. Sorry, I know that was a long time ago. This is it's called Easy Form. It's just a plaster cloth wrap that you can find at most hobby stores, and got all this little chalk dust everywhere, so don't want to get my boy's cards. He made a zombie deck, so I was like, hey, can I borrow your Gary Merchant? So all right, well, without further ado, this is a very messy endeavor, so you want to use lukewarm water. It really matters. I'm one of these people, somebody goes, oh, you got to do it this way, and I always kind of roll my eyes no matter what it is, because I'm like, yeah, and I try it the other way to see. This really happens. It acts like, well, it's similar to like if how temperature affects everything, really. And if you have any sort of like, I don't know, soap or lather or anything like that, warm water obviously makes it happen a lot quicker. So just going to put a little bit in here. Not like that. We'll keep this over here next to Gary. He's even got a little mask on his chest. Check that out. All right. So we start, you want to do like an X pattern right across the bridge of the nose. We support here. This is the weakest part of the mask, and so I like to kind of over support it. But we just dip this in, get it nice and wet, and it's messy as hell. But again, just like the tin foil, which is a really good practice element, we put that on, and you don't have to be too like overzealous with your application. You just don't want any like you don't want to make any bridges. And if it folds over there, that's fine. We're going to do like 3 or 4 layers on this thing. But see how I'm just poking the eyes? You got to pull a little Three Stooges action like this. Just make sure things aren't rolling a weird way. And then if it tries to, Murphy's Law shows up and tries to tangle up on you, you just do this. I like to go right down the nose here. Get the nose covered here. Poke this in. Reinforce like this. Now again, this isn't going to look too, let's just say, awesome at first. You can see how I'm filling in the holes with it's almost like it's just like some sort of milk paste or something. It's pretty good stuff. So we put this here and we spread, and you can see you can almost fill it out, and you can make a very thin mask. I I always have delusions of grandeur, like I'm going to get in a fight from scaring somebody, or they're going to swing at me, and it's like, well, why not have armor on? So my masks are pretty robust. They're probably twice as much as I need to be, and you can immediately start if you like this. And I warn you, it is very addictive. It's very fun. I got into mask making because I liked painting so much, but I wasn't a very good painter. I've got a few that I'm proud of, but for the most part, I can't draw depth very well. If you ask me to draw a female, it's just a wild guess if I even got close to anything. So anyway, we're going to, what was I saying? All right, so we're just going to cover the eyes real basic here. And again, if this is a person, you go around the eyes, and there's advantages to that. You get a little bit more structure on the edge, but you also get, your eyes aren't really like conformed or straight, I should say. But you can always chop stuff off literally with a saw or a little beveled serrated knife edge. Being careful. My wife just stabbed her hand. Had to go to the ER the other day. She's fine, by the way, but being her profession, she uses her hands all the time, so it was a pretty scary thing. It went all the way through too, just zoop, but missed the webbing and missed everything important. So pretty hard to do on her hand. She's got dainty little hands. So all right, so we're going to put this up here. And again, we're just trying to get rid of any big, like, oh, crap. Does that make sense? And we'll write that one down, right? We're just trying to get rid of some, oh, crap. But just filling stuff out here. I'm going to get the, like I said, it's almost like architecture. We're just laying stuff down. I get the chin there. Sometimes you can, if you know, like, what you're after, you can start clumping stuff up. Like this stuff makes amazing things. You can, I've that pig mask that I showed at the top of the show. That's like just a water bottle chopped off, and then I put this stuff around it. As long as it's not going to decay, this stuff's going to just trap it in time, like some amber wax or something like that. So, and you see how we've got these little marks of silver showing through. It's another good reason if you have one of these to use aluminum foil, because you could really shows up, the errors show up a lot more in there and stuff. I scared the crap out of one of my friend's girlfriends. Her name was Lisette, and I made a tooth fairy mask for her, and I didn't warn her. I was that's probably my 20th mask or something, and so they were just there to kind of hang out and see what we could come up with. And it was nice working on somebody else's face after she was all greased up with protection around her hair and stuff. I didn't let her know what was coming because her nose was plenty breathable, and I just put a piece right across her face or her mouth, and it scared the crap out of her because you're under, and she had her eyes closed and wasn't expecting it, and I didn't realize she was breathing mostly through her mouth at that time. So be careful of that if you're doing this with somebody. So we get this stuff going. Don't waste it. You rub it in the edges here, and try not to overdo the watering once you get a nice base, because this turns into similar to if you leave oatmeal and water too long, it turns into almost like a nice little concrete. Now, when I get to what I know is going to be the edge, I tend just over the years to double up the edge and really accentuate it. I can fix them later, but I found I really like to overdo it, and then I build up to it. More on that later. But again, I'm just rubbing the edges here. I can turn it for you so you see. Just rubbing the edge, trying to get everything as just slick. Just getting it in there, and trying not to get anything that really offends over the line or anything like that. Now I'm touching the actual plaster there, so I'm not going to push in too much there because I don't want it to be a arm wrestling match when I try to take this off in a couple days. Actually, you could. I've done this where I've been in a big mask mood and I want to make 2 in a day or whatever, and I'll throw this whole thing in the oven. Or if I'm using my face and I wiggle it off after that half hour, I'll throw the thing in the oven. I don't recommend doing that because my son's gonna be pissed. I got his card. Good, it's got a sleeve on it. I don't recommend doing that. I think the mask integrity is better if you just let time do it. But it's not that big of a difference. Like I said, it's not like you're going to war in these things. So you see, we're getting pretty close to. We'll put another, just a big piece here. Let's see. Sorry about the chat, guys. I've got to keep my eyes down, so I guess I'll just let the chat be more about you guys doing your thing. And I should have done this at a different time of day so I could pull my Bob Ross impression and been like, "Can I put a little happy tree on the chin here?" But you see how this is just by squishing that, I was able to just kind of take that large feature, that like kind of a mountain range, just squish it down. And take this over here. Now we're going to be adding, because of the way this mask is structured, I want to pay attention to, like, right around here is where the flare out's going to happen. So I can really build up more stuff there. And I'll build to it. Again, we're just doing this, but you can see how messy this is. We've got a nice little gaming table here that we're doing this on, but this red covering is just one of the kids' old mattress covers that we haven't used in years. I was like, well, I'll just get that all dirty for a few weeks and then we'll toss it. People usually don't like primary colors to sleep on unless they're under the age of about 8. I don't know why. Makes me feel like a superhero. And we'll put one more here. We haven't been here in a while. Kind of like to keep things moving and flowing. We get don't want any areas to harden up too much. If they do, you just rub some water on it. It's not, like it's concrete and whatnot. But so we get this stuff going, we're gonna rub things in. And also next show, we're going to be able to we'll hold it up to the light, and you can actually see where the mask is weak. So when you take it off of your face, if you do this, you take it off and you can hold it up and you'll see the eyes. You can see light coming through because there's only one or maybe 1.5 layers there. And other areas will be really solid. So that's where you got to maybe reinforce a few things. And, it'll dry a lot quicker then because just how everything's done. So, and this will be cool because, this will be ready months ahead of Halloween. So I was thinking like, well, this is kind of a Halloween idea, but hey, if people get into this, it'll give you enough time to go out and do it yourself. There's so many masks of memory. There's all kinds of things in magic lore where you can just find some look of something you like. And, if you take your time on it, you got something that'll outlive you. And it's perfect for like dinner parties and stuff. So really, really a fan. And like I said, it's very addicting. I got into it just because I think my son was having some school event and we couldn't find the mask we wanted, and I was, going and buying paints for some painting, and I was just like, hey, let me try this. And it was immediate, as you can see, we have depth. You can't not have depth because just the nature of a human face. And so then I was able to kind of build off of stuff. I've got one that's, I'll show maybe next week if I remember. It's in our living room. Kind of scares new people that don't know how macabre our household can be, but in a good way. We're not like Adam's Family or anything like that. We just, most of my artwork around the house is a little of the darker persuasion. But I put, rounded these up and I sunk 2 gourd circlets in there. And I made one a demon horn and I broke the other one off and burned it. And it just tells such a story because, it's got this lore about it and stuff. So, all right. So we're going to fill out the rest of this here. I think just from doing this in the past, this is a little weak area that I often forget, so I'm going to put one there. Sorry about the chat, guys. So she's in the house, 1 year high budget and bought these. Oh, I see what you're saying. Gray Merchant face actually is very nondescript. You'll end up having to add surface detail. Yeah, I really like it. It reminds me, one of my favorite mask movies is Eyes Wide Shut. It's not that good of a movie, a little weird for weird's sake. But Kubrick was quite a genius, and it did have a lot of nice masks in it. In fact, the video that I did for Thorn of the Black Rose, or when I was playing that all kill everything deck, and it's placed pretty good in a tournament or two, and it's kind of the flavor of the month there. I remember I made that little trailer using that, and always wanted to use that. I was like, hey, look, this is a perfect card for merchants. So, the little discrepancies there. This is going to be cut off. The strings can go. You can always burn things. Burning, if you're of the chromosome persuasion of a male, you're going to like fire. And this is a great thing because when you have masks, you add stuff onto them and you just start burning things and it adds so much color. I really like to use paints mixed with leather stains. See, I'm going to the bottom to dredge. Hey, look at that, trying to force in every magic angle I can. Hear that? So we dredge the bottom for just this, almost like a toothpaste stuff. And we just kind of fill it in. We're finishing up the main area here. What we're going to have to do is work on the horns. I guess I'm just going to cut this after the break, and we'll make we'll try to make the crown and a few of the other elements. I think I'm done with the main layout. I just want to make sure that I'm not, and in the few minutes that we're going to have, go get some more coffee. Speaking of which, excuse me. So, we got to keep in mind that we're going to have that open. So we'll address that later. Right now, it's just mask integrity, foundation, and doing stuff where later we're not going to regret it. There's a paper clay I'll show you next week. Actually, I have to go out and get it. That you rub and you get rid of all the smooth lines. I'd recommend against sanding. If you sand anything, it is cloth after all, and it exposes things, and then you start getting a lot of just wispies. And again, a simple lighter is probably the best way to get rid of the stuff. You burn it off. We've got a little area over here that needs a lot of love. Just gonna tilt it to show the camera. Just filling in these little black areas here, going like this. So hopefully you guys like this show. When you're a content producer like me, and I love doing Pauperganda and I love showing you guys new decks and all, but there's only so much of my brain to go around, and sometimes you feel like playing something, but you're like, wow, shoot, I did that last week, and so it's nice to have a little bit of a break from the norm. We'll always go back to it. I've been really heavily on Crypt Gift, which is I just can't see beating Crypt Rats. It's not like it just came out. I mean, it's been out since the beginning. And the more I play it, it's just like all these decks that I think like, oh yeah, I'll take that out. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to leave it in there. Because even like against Tron, it's like, man, as long as you don't skimp on mana, I'm up to 21 with 3 Bazooka Bogs. Because if I see a bog early, I want to wait a few turns to play it. So I want to have a few turn lands. And then I also, that extra land, you just power up the rat. And end of turn, swapping for 4 shuts down almost all the Tron matchups. I still don't think I've lost a single Tron match. I sure have with Mono Black, but that's mostly the practice room. So now remember how much water I poured in this? There's quite a bit on this mask already. Like I said, we'll reinforce this. Now something I've always wanted to do mask-wise, and I always forget, if you get little, again at a craft store, I forget what the name is. It isn't a rivet, but it's a circlet made for, like, if you think of like a really hardcore pair of boots, it'll have a little ringlet. And if you build around that and then start it where you want it, you have a perfect mask hole. Oh, look at that color on the ink. I don't know if that's coming through. It's a nice little oil slick in the mask. Oh no! I'll have to print this up. A drop of water happened and it looks like our gray merchant's wearing lipstick. You can't do this or pose this stuff, kids. Darn it. I was hoping that was there as a permanent reference. I'll have to obviously reprint it for next week and stuff, but see, if I was like famous, I could be like, hey, who wants this print? Remember this happened? So ridiculous. All right, so we're going to figure this thing out here. The other bad part of this is my keyboard, my camera's getting a little bit of this stuff on it, but nothing that just seriously just one wipe of a sponge doesn't take off and such. So have you ever played or brewed Battle Box? I have not, Soshi, and I know that was a couple minutes ago you asked that. Like I said, my eyes are down. I can't see when the chat rings up, so I have not. Do you recommend? Like I said, I'm glad the camera's far away because I'm pretty tired. I didn't get to bed till about 2:30. We were at the game store. It doesn't close till a little after midnight. After the draft, I wanted to be the good parent, and my son found a commander group and they played like 2 games, and that was nuts. Funny how much you can like Magic, and when I see a commander game that I'm not in, it's like, oh my god, it's so confusing. So I think we're gonna rub a little bit more here just to kind of get this here. So this is where we're gonna not stop for the day. We're gonna come back after the break and we're gonna add the other elements. But for right now, this is gonna fit my face perfectly for obvious reasons. The chin's a little extended because of, when you lay down and you get that fat chin and stuff, and the way the plaster fell. But so I know not to go too far on that, but you want enough of an edge there. I shouldn't even talk about that because there's probably one person in the world that has one of these, and they already know more than me when it comes to probably doing this kind of stuff because they have one of these, like somebody like Odin from Odin Makes. If you get a chance, boy, if you like any sort of cosplay or this kind of stuff, my buddy Odin, not that he even needs it, he's crazy successful, but he deserves it. It's an amazing channel. He's a fantastic editor too, and he's the one that we did the Bone Splitter for, if you remember, and his channel's just blowing up since, and just doing amazing stuff. And he's the one that helped make this head and kind of got me started on all this stuff. Not mask making, but he gave me this, and so it was like a kind of a 1, 2, 3. So see this little like string. I mean, later on you can pull it now, but sometimes it'll turn into like a, you pull it apart sort of thing. So this kind of stuff you can just burn off later and stuff like that. Might be a little discrepancy. I'll just shave down. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of that now. Play it in there. So anyway, we're gonna come back. We're gonna focus on the horn section here, and we'll take it from there. But for right now, I'm gonna roll to something that YouTube doesn't like, but Twitch doesn't mind, guys. It's a sushi skit. I'm gonna wash my hands and get some scissors, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. See you in a bit. Hey, Pauperganda fans, thank you so much for the continued support of the people to my right. Also, if you want to have your deck played, a 10-ticket donation on Magic the Gathering Online is probably the best way to do it, as well as sending us an email to pauperganda@gmail.com. But anyway, thank you so much again for the people over here, and we'll see you next time. All right, enough of that. So, sorry, but those skits are a little bit long, but I kind of need them today because it's the first show ever where I'm washing my hands between things and cleaning equipment and such. So anyway, I'll show you guys a little close-up of the staining that's happening to the Gray Merchant. Check out his mouth there. It's green on this end, but he's getting pretty messy. I might have to figure out a way. Maybe I'll elevate the picture next week like this so I can't splash it as much. That might have been a little bit smarter, but hey, it's the first time I've done a show like this. So thanks to the Upright Citizens Brigade, one of their older skits. And the last time I tried, YouTube caught it. Can't shake it around that. So we'll figure that out. Little fight had to go off to the family. And there's something Soshi's asking about being a kind of piles draft thing. And you've got a theory question. Well, go for it. Just if you really need my attention, you did it perfectly. That first, I see that big brick that says @Pauperganda. So that kind of grabs my attention. All right, well, I'll put my, I guess I can keep my coffee here. It kind of looks neat, the little ichor reflection. Too bad I couldn't superimpose a black mana symbol, right? That'd be pretty cool. All right, so we're going to get this a little out of the way. We will be needing scissors. I'm going to set El Hedo over Hero. I guess we'll try to make it look nice for the camera there. Woo, boy, that's a Luma flare, isn't it? All right, so next up, we got very little water left, so we're going to remedy that. Also, cut your stuff over a Tupperware bowl like this, because what's cool is you can do a little shakedown. You can get that little dust in there. Just a little bit goes a long way because there's always a lot in there already. And then you can add a little bit more warm water. As long as it's room temperature or warm, it doesn't have to. There's no real hard and fast rules to anything. God dang it, it dripped right on its mouth again. All right, well, there seems to be, maybe that portends a issue that we're going to have. So when we look at this mask, we have some little winglets that come out and kind of a crown. My experience, you don't want the mask to weigh too much, so you want to cut with stuff. I was thinking, we could just probably cut with this, but it's a wee bit thin. And to get the desired look, I'd rather it be a little bit thicker, so I'm gonna just leave that there, and being the good husband I am, I got my wife some flowers and they were delivered in this. And just your typical cardboard is a super good place to start with this. So I'm just gonna cut into this, and let's see, we're gonna, you know what, if I just cut this in a square, it'll probably be the best here. Lose a finger on Twitch, that might be a first. Better be careful. Be like my wife there. Alrighty, I'm cutting in a square for a reason. I'm trying to get a, let me do this off camera a little bit. Sorry about that. Alright, so I'm looking to see if this is going to have sort of the ridge look that I'm looking for. Up here a little bit more of the crown aspect if we cut that out and are able to kind of post it up. So I'm going to cut this in half. Always going a little bit more than you think. And then we'll have a screw up piece or another winglet that we can use here. I'll keep that looking dapper. And so we're trying to kind of think of this little crown edge here. And again, this is going to be covered up so heavily, but it's a pretty sharp angle. So we're just going to do a sharp angle. Keep in mind everything gets softened with what we're using. So, and keep your pieces out of the water area. So we're trying to kind of mirror that look there, and then it comes down, but not that much. It's definitely more of a rounded come down up to the point. So this is a nice way to just keep your I guess the architecture of it. I keep using that phrase, but it is kind of relevant. Now we'll merge these two elements so that it's more of a swoop afterwards. Right now I'm just trying to get this here. I'm just going to bend this cardboard. Boy, the chat sure died off, guys. Everybody leave? Maybe the show sucks. Let's see. I'm having a good time. All right, that's quite a bit more than we need, but if we did build that up like this, I'm trying to mirror like from here to here is about like that, so it's a little bit less than that, so it's actually pretty darn close there. And if I did bring this all the way down, it would soften the forehead features, get rid of that little Cro-Magnon look. So I'm actually going to probably just start setting that there. Keeping in mind, I might let this flare out, and I might even put some more junk behind here so that we can merge this edge and it's a little bit flatter, and we can take those issues here. Still here? All right. Thank you, sir. All right, so I think that's what I'm going to roll with. I'll put the coffee up here, and we'll get the scissors out of the way. Pro tip, I always forget to do it, but when those things get wet, it really sucks. So we're going to go here. Yeah, the ink movement is really coming along there. All right. So I'm just going to really focus on, I want to get some balance here. And again, you screw up, you bend it, you just put some stuff over it, and you're good to go. So we're going to, again, this is just general architecture here. We're not, I missed mostly on that on purpose so that the cardboard, the plaster has something to stick onto. So we'll put this piece here. We'll go like this. It's fine right now. It's going to be a hot mess for a little bit. Don't want too much of a brow, but we also don't want there to be much of a line here. So what we want to do is we'll keep this going, and I'm just going to take this stuff for support. I'm going to hold it with my thumb and just stuff it in here. I'm going to stuff. Believe me, it'll set like concrete. You just want to squish as we go. Keeping in mind, you want to keep. I moved the ridge just a little bit so that the main point was still straight down. So we'll put this here. I'm going right in here. Just doing this right now. Trying to keep it nice and flat, meaning like straight up and down, so it doesn't have a big ridge later. Sometimes it's good to have an old pencil for things like this. I didn't think that far ahead. I thought I remembered everything. I didn't. It happens. we're going to bring this over the top and start working on the structure here. Again, we're just going to keep pressing. Be amazed. Unfortunately, I can't really show you how stiff this is getting, but believe me, it's getting pretty hardcore. And what's neat about cardboard is you don't have to do too much to really make it the thickness of just everyday things. Let me go, I'll go around here, and I'll just bring this in here and pull it like that. Sorry if my mic's getting too loud. I'm going to bring that around the front, go like this. And as you can see, we're starting to get a little bit of the structure here. Again, just going to use some water here. The more this sets, the better. And we can revisit this at another time too. Now when you have exterior elements like this, one of these is good enough for one mask, like your typical dinner mask or whatever, if you want to make it really strong. If you're doing extra elements like this, you probably want to go 1.5, maybe even 2. It's one of those things. It's always good to have a bit extra. As you can see, we got this going here. Use one of the smaller ones here, and you know what's cool about this too is I've got a few friends that have always wanted to make masks and stuff, and they're the same friends I've tried to get into magic. So now I can use this video and be like, hey, check this out. And then it might be like a, what do they call that, a gateway drug. I can get them going. I'm not going to put more than probably just 2 layers in most spots of this. I'm telling you, once the plaster is set and it's got the structure of cardboard, which is strong enough unless you got everything soaking wet, you're going to be good to go. Plus, you want to cover all the edges just because of the other elements that we're going to add to it. They're going to want to hang on to something. And cardboard's okay. As you can see, it's holding on just fine, but nothing holds on like more plaster elements. So we're going to go like this. And it's nice to overshoot edges like this. Roll like this. And we're missing a little area down here. That's no biggie. We'll fill it in, smear it in. And see this little ridge right here? We'll add that with just extra stuff. Maybe clay, a clay element to have that ridge there so that it's like a legit ridge and stuff. And same with these elements. I can cut that off and fan them out the next time we get together, a week from today. We'll be going from there. All right, so this is getting a little bit better here. And if he's there, we're going to go like that. So back here, it's already hardening up. We want to make sure that we're not neglecting the areas back here. I'm always a little torn when I make masks because I know they're going to outlive me. There's something about art that's a little spooky that way. I don't get spooked out by, it's just deep thought. One of my favorite band, or my favorite band, the Crash Test Dummies, he has a song called, the song is actually called Ha Ha, as in a laugh, I'm outlived by that thing. And I always kind of hum that song when I do art because I know I probably only got about another 50 or so years on this blue ball. Let's do most of us, unless you have the real young persuasion, but then it's just a few more laps around the sun. Before you know it, boom. But yet, these sort of things will keep going. That's kind of cool to think about. But sometimes I get jealous of inanimate objects because they're going to outlive me. But they're not having as much fun. Oh man, I just got chalk on my pop filter. That's not going to come out because of the porous nature. Oh well, it'll be a neat story. So run this through, getting the thing there. I think that's going to be plenty strong to hold up cardboard. We're going to move on to the wing elements here. Let's see. So it's good to have these 2 angles too. I mean, it's technically the same, but one's blown up, one isn't. So got to see what's going on in the chat here. Sorry, guys. Having a smoke break. Oh yeah, so there we go. Oh yeah, hair dryers. Yeah, I haven't used that, but you could. You'd have to be in a big hurry to get to that party. One of my favorite things to do, I think I briefly mentioned it and then I forgot to keep going with it, but acrylics, any sort of paints, even watercolors work. I wouldn't use watercolors as my first choice though, because it can kind of soften the just the structure. But what's really cool, obviously doing a very well ventilated area, but you take, let me get one more piece here just so that's nice and fat. You take that and you start burning the paint, and it can really make some neat things like around the eyes. It's almost like a really neat mascara, because you can burn the acrylic paint into like some really neat colors that are organic to like the original color, or on the same I guess color perspective wheel. I know there's some correct term I'm not using. Anyway, it's a neat little trick. But what I really like to do most of all is find like furniture stain polish for a lot of these dark areas, or just stuff that, you know, literally coffee grounds, rubbing stuff in to stain. I've used tea bags before, just to get like kind of that weathered look on some stuff. But yeah, this is setting up pretty strong already. We gotta be careful we don't go too far, but we're gonna really want to we're gonna want to bend this back. Now that I'm looking at this bends, so we're catching it now before we'd have to, like, you know, sand this area down and stuff. So push it in here, because we don't want it to be flare, we want it to be like this. So I'm gonna bend this down a little bit. Let's see how pliable it is. I'll keep it about, it's nice to have fingers as measurements. We'll keep it right about there. I think that's gonna really work well. And let's see, this little crest comes all the way down. We're gonna need quite a bit more than I thought, I believe. Let's see, that comes, I mean, it comes all the way down. So I'm glad we've got extra here. It's about an inch or so. Let me just wing it, see if I can get lucky. I got a pretty good track record with that, especially with art concerns. And just like that, we're gonna go something like this. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to keep everything a little more. This is a bit more behind, so let's see if I did it like, again, you can always bend cardboard really nicely and such. We'll go like, how pointy is that chin? It comes down to about there. This goes up to about here. We can make this work, certainly, right about there. I'm just going to hold this. Going to be pretty messy again for a bit. We might have to continue this next week. This is a lot more in depth than I thought. These flare elements, now that I'm looking at them in a real scale. Used a nice little squished edge there, and so the next layer can hold it even more steady. How sticky these things are. Again, I'm just going to merge these two here. They kind of merge together, making sure that we keeping the integrity of the aspect ratio of like how it sits on the face pretty close. Want to give it something to rest against in the back area here, similar to what we did before it starts setting, so that this back area isn't like naked. So I'm going to double this piece up, and this first I'm going to stuff it too close, and then we'll squish it down so it'll really hold that feature. You want to get that flare to come out, and again, we'll build off of this, but I just want that structural element to be there so that we have the option at a later date. So we'll do here. See, I'm gonna fill in this. I'm gonna drag this over just so it acts as kind of like a glue filler, and so that seam isn't there. And perfect thing to use cardboard here. I had a little dent there, so I know there's a bit of a hole in the back there. Gonna drape this here and make it talk to the back section there. Again, once we got this to harden, we're just going to leave it, and then next time we can add clay back here and make it flush. For right now, I'm just looking for the big structural elements here. Let's see what we can do with that. I'll bring that down like here. we're going to have to, we'll build up the nose too. See how it's got more of a witch's hook point and stuff. That's fine. We'll just build up to it. I'll show you a little trick. We've got a little indentation there. I don't like weak spots in a mask, so I'm going to take one of these little elements here. Like I said, it's very idiot proof, so it's a perfect medium for me. Just wrapped up that little chunk, and I'll put it right in here. I decimated that, didn't I? So looks like a screw up, and then you just put another piece on it. And like I said, next week when we fill in the clay elements and stuff, just looking to make a strong mask so that things aren't ripping apart and such. But yeah, see, this is already holding good. Gotta make sure that this is all down here. Might have to cut that a little bit next time, maybe missed by a couple millimeters or such. So this will come up. See, we build one side totally so that we can mirror it on the other side. So I'm going to want to do this little hook feature. Let's see what we got down here. Yeah, that's pretty. Hey, that kind of works. I don't want it structurally to be too large. I think this is about the length that will go out. So let's let me cut from what would make the most sense. We'll have that be the edge. Let's see, yeah, we'll do like that. There we go. So we're looking for this to be a bit of a swoop angle. Just going to tear this off here. And we'll make that edge real nice and soft. We can start right now. Taking a little bit off of there. And just get an approximation here. I'll have that come up. Sometimes you run into things too where the physics of something is almost unattainable because it was drawn. It didn't really exist in real life. Come around like this. You can see there's no real rhyme or reason to a lot of this stuff. If we hook up from here, getting there, it's getting to be about the same. I don't want this to, looks a lot thinner at the top here, right through here, so I'm going to cut into that because we have to keep in mind we're going to have the extra stuff. What am I trying to say? We're just going to keep doing that. So that's cool. I'd like this to be a little bit more pronounced, but we'll do that afterwards, and it'll come down a little bit further because of the wrapping. So since we have this, and we've done all that work, and we're going for symmetry, at least that's what I tell myself. I'll throw these bits in here. I'm going to take another piece and just copy that. Page out of editing. Doink. I take this and put it on this side for contrast. I believe, yeah, it'll just be a mirror of itself. I'll line up any issues that I've got here. Boy, it would really be nice if I had a pencil, but I'll just scratch it. Again, we're not going for exactitude at this moment. We're just going for some pretty basic cuts. So get that going there. Oh, I don't trust that mark yet, so I'm going to go with the one I can see. That'll always work too. Move this down just a hair so that it'll actually match perfect. I was surprised how much I liked watching the artist Klug Alters, who graciously let us use a lot of his stuff. I mean, we're helping promote him too, but he does some alters, and I was surprised it was one of the only Twitch shows I was able to like watch. Hopefully you're finding this engaging, not crazy boring. Let's see. We have two similar pieces. These are both, gotta be careful of these. This goes here. This goes here. Let's get this edge just a little bit more like that. Got it. All right. Sorry, I'm not doing much for the chat here, guys. So if we take this, we'll keep this up here for next. And we bend this. This has really got to be like that, doesn't it? And this has got to be an element here, so I'll round that right now, because that's got to come up and meet this. So we'll do this. I'm going to coat this up just so it has something to stick to. That's the first step. Now this is kind of like an element of the thing. I'll just keep it close by. We're going to come down this swoop here. That's what I'm looking for. And we'll try to merge these two together. Again, clumping up just so for structural strength. So if this mask ever breaks, this will probably be the area that it happens to. So I want to make sure that's nice and structurally sound. If I did like 20 of these, I'd probably come up with something that's all one piece, and we could, you know, merge them all together. Before I cover this up, see how this has this little structural, oops, just bent that out of whack, flaw. We can just, well, nope, it has that curve there. So we'll have to probably just cut this part off because we want this piece to be accentuated. So we'll let that stay. Right now we're just going for strength. Tricky thing about this, you got to make sure that they cure at the right angle, because it's pretty hard to redo that. It's pretty forgiving medium except for that. So if you saw real close, this started giving away a little bit. I'm just going to add some more water, and I'm just going to restructure that just a bit, just so it's got one more little piece of micro concrete. Woohoo! All right, so we're going to tip this up. I'm going to tip it over. I'm going to make sure to pay some attention to the side nobody will ever see. So that's how I roll. Just smoothing it out, bringing it up, rolling it through. What you gonna do? I don't want it to be that strong of an element, but good enough that we can adjust later. And once this sets, I can take like a Dremel tool and cut into that, and then we can just resurface the edge. It is just cardboard after all. But we want it to be strong enough there. It's tough because he's at an angle, so this piece, I think I'm just going to keep it like that. We'll go from here. We get in some little filler here, a little bit more of the dust. Make sure this is really strong before we move on to the other side. Boop, here we are. We've got the mask element down here. I'm going to chop this here. As for that, probably should have mirrored that side too, but I'm just kind of winging that, the point of this here chin. Boink. All right, boy, getting messy, see? Not something you really want to do inside, but unless you want to hear a bunch of cars and such, we're going to leave it like that. So you could see how this has been built up. I'm going to tuck that in and try to preserve a bit of the design that we cut out. I mean, we're after the structural strength here at this stage, so I'm not too concerned with that. I think we're going to have just enough material today to, I mean, I've got more here as I showed you in the example, but yeah, I'm going to put this right here. Hopefully you guys can see this. Just trying to cover what I can, and instead of that, I'm going to opt for more structure here. Drip some water in there because that's only going to strengthen if it finds gravity's way out. Structure here, smooth here. This could use one more lip. One coat's usually not enough. I'd like to make sure that the element has enough structural strength there, so it's only going to get stronger. And just drag your fingers through some water there and good to go. And I'm going to take this and drape it over the side. There we go. Those of you wondering why I'm not wearing glasses, well, I only use those when I'm on a screen. They're just for like the immediately few feet there, and I couldn't read the chat if I did that. So, alrighty. Well, judging from the chat, this is not a successful show. Unless everybody's just got me in Bob Ross mode. But I'm having a good time. So, structure there. This is more of a, I'll probably take some of that off now. I can bend this more so I don't have to cut later. As you can see, it just goes kind of in a straight line. So I don't want to change too much. Some of the coolest things I've been able to make artistically, whether it's painting or masks, sometimes I'll set off trying to copy something, which, let's be clear, I am trying to copy this mask. I'm not going to change it in the 11th hour. But don't be afraid if it's just for you, and not to sound like some spiritual reference or whatever, but sometimes you'll see an angle or a way something could go, and it's like, oh my God, it's so much better like this. Not because it's yours, it's just it's so much more, I hate to say, organic to the spot or to the piece of art. So again, I'm just stuffing this area in here. Again, we'll fill that in with clay next time. I think this next break I'm going to bust out some, this is a lot more than I thought it was going to be. I'm using a lot of this for just structural support. And don't be afraid to poke pretty aggressively. You want to get those pockets out of there. And keep revisiting the balance to the art. See how everything's kind of working out. I think we're getting pretty close on this edge to leave it alone. Just want to look one more time back here. I could use a little bit more water when I see a bunch of areas, that are apart. I just like to merge them, not like that. See this little one, just boop, just squish it in there. The stronger the better. This is a heavy thing to hold out. This thing weighs like 6 pounds, so my left hand's killing me. Oh, all right. So we're gonna work on the other side now, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna go clean up, get some more water, cut some more rags, and we'll be back. Hey, there's the Bob Ross, right? Gotta make sure I can get out of here. Our next skit is the Hornless Unicorn. So I'll be back in just a few, guys. Clean up and such. Hope. And we're back. A little stutter on the feed there. I don't know. Oh, I'm hardwired in. All right. So it's not really necessary to clean your hands unless you've got little, sometimes it just dries out your hands and need some lotion and stuff. So we're on the tail end here. We're going to finish up the other side. Like I said, we'll leave it to sit and then we'll fine tune next week. I just want to get this down, maybe get the point established. And we've got, as you can see, kind of the structural elements of that. So let me move my coffee here. Hopefully you guys got some more coffee. Thank you for the little Bob Ross there. I cut some more things. I was going to say the mask stuff comes like this. Like I said, just make sure when you're cutting it that you cut over the other fabric, because that little dust keeps falling off and it really amounts to a lot and adds to a lot of the structural integrity. So I'm going to leave these here, and then I like to double them up like this and then just cut down the middle, watching for fingers on the other side. But that tends to be the strip that I use all the time. It covers the most, it's the most flexible. There's options. Sometimes you want a big old flat piece and you can just, do something with it, but I think we're running a little bit low and we'll go like that. All right, so keep the chat rolling, guys, just so I know the feed's doing okay. I know I'm hardwired in, but that's never a guarantee against nothing. All right, so I'm trying to think if we should build up this side or the other side. I think we're going to go here with that. It is a little bit rounded, and we're going to pull that out here again. So trying to see where we're going to bend this up. Cardboard's just the best. It's just, it holds perfectly. So this comes, I'm just going to use this edge. We don't have the artwork. The artist, you know, never concluded on that side. We're going to have some really, really extenuated features that will build up with clay for these extreme cheekbones and keep this down, so this will be the offset. But for right now, we're looking to merge this to that. So, and again, we know this area is getting pretty tough. So I can use maybe like a little piece of this to just hold that in, and then we'll come down like this. But I'm just trying to get the line about right. I think we can take quite a bit off of this interior edge here. Don't want to get too aggressive, but got to start somewhere. Hiya! Alrighty. So this will go about like, not like this. To bring it about right down here. This could come off quite a bit. Just looking for some symmetry. I know no human faces are symmetrical, but we try. And that's going to be a lot flatter on the other side, so I got to take quite a bit off of this edge here. Keeping in mind that the plaster is just going to add stuff to it anyway. This is going to be the longest cleanup show ever. Alrighty, I think I can work with that. I got to keep my pictures where I can see them. All this plaster is getting everywhere. It's a messy thing, I tell you. Something's not sitting right. Always good to tilt up and see. This sits a lot lower. That's what's bugging me. Alrighty. I think we're going to go like here. That's a lot flatter too. Curve of the face is the natural bend element there, and we can add that later. Right now I just want to have stuff to work with. So I think we're going to rock like this. Just got to kind of commit at some point, you know. Squish it, squish it. Oop. I can make that cardboard like almost have no line there. Now this time I'm going to hold it. Careful. See, I almost bent that edge, and that's still setting, so I gotta be careful. Just so you know, this whole mask can come off because, you know, it's only stuck to the edge at that one point. So this is actually very hard to work on right now because this other edge needs to set. So what I'm gonna do, see how I bent that other side, and this is getting all goopy too. I'm just gonna throw some on the back side here. So I have something to push against. I'll just double this stuff up. I'm just going to goop it in there. I want to pick this up or push against it, but I know I don't want to bend that side. So I'm just kind of working a little fast here to just kind of get things set up. And again, it's not concrete. 5 minutes we can still wiggle and move, and 10 minutes we probably can too. All hell breaks loose. You add a lot of water and you start over. Go like this. Let's try to solidify this edge, keeping in mind that that is a weak spot, so we don't want to just assume it's going to get better. I'm going to fix things as we go. We'll rub these areas into the cracks instead of making them go further so that it adds as a foundational element. We can fill that in with clay at a later date. Put this here and this here. Gonna roll like this. Roll this over. Just covering the cardboard at this stage right now. Hopefully you guys are liking those Upright Citizen Brigade skits. Sure wish I could make them a regular on Pauperganda. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. There's just some that get flagged, and other ones they're kind of free use. So the older the show, the better the chance, I guess. I'm just trying to promote good comedy. Right. They are great. They have got to meet the Upright Citizens Brigade back when they were a thing on Comedy Central. That was a lot of fun. They made fun of me. It was awesome. They were asking for skit ideas, and I got a little too elaborate. They said some funny, just right on the moment comment, just whoop, just kind of put me in my place. It was pretty funny. It was the butt of the joke. And just rolling this out. We can always build up. I just don't want to be stuck with like a brick in our way, and we have to like cut into it too much. I want to have power tools on this show. A little bit of foresight, and we'll be able to avoid that. So before I start setting things down, I just want to keep things rolling like this. You can see it's starting to get there. I mean, we'll build up the cheekbones. The nose is going to look completely different. How's chat going? Man, that Bob Ross has been the last comment forever. I tell you. All right. I'm going to try to merge these two here. I'm not going to have a false chin. We're just going to, again, structural integrity. Whoops. I just bumped the... Oopsie. What happened there? Well, that was strange. That's weird. Am I still rolling? Let me see. Not quite sure if I'm still rolling. I got no choice. If I'm still on, that's cool. If not, I guess I'll just revisit this next week. We'll see what we can see. Still here? Oh, that's weird. You're live for sure. Were you doubting? Was this pre-recorded, Soshi? Thanks again for your support, my friend. I appreciate it. It's because that's why we got this camera. People like you and the Buy Me a Coffee thing. It's so nice to have that. What is going on with my computer here? Twitch is just, I think it's just Twitch. I don't know what is happening with Twitch. It just keeps, now it's just a black screen. I'm going to try to, hello Twitch. I'm hardwired in. Well, I just got a black screen now, so I'm just going to keep rolling. Like I said, I can't really stop and hope for a fix. Add a big old chunk right here to just make this really strong. I'm going to roll like this. It says I'm still going, but I don't know. My Twitch just went dead, but my feed looks strong, so I'm just going to assume that everything's all good there. I almost need a piece like that, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I need to wrap this so we can start merging everything. Just going to go and get the edges here, and if the feed drop, that's fine. I mean, it's just kind of a mirror angle, and then we'll kill the show. And I'm thinking of editing this all together into one show before I post to YouTube anyway, so we'll see. No rules to this game. We're just having a good time. Hey, see, I should have done that the first time. That one worked a lot better. So this is the little horn. This is the edge. And you know what? Let me wipe this down. See if I can get Twitch to work yet again here. Twitch, hello. Let's go, man. What is going on here? It's so weird because I'm hardwired in, but I guess I'll just leave that up just in case it still is working. I've never seen, I mean, I've been streaming, 3 or 4 years now, Shiraz? I'm not quite sure what it is. 5 maybe? I've never seen that before. It just goes black, and then it comes back and people are saying I'm still there. It's like, what? Weird. Just band-aiding stuff up. Regardless, I got to keep going because this stuff's setting in stone, so we got to be careful here. All right, so we've got this element here. Careful where you set that. You don't want to stick to the mask in the wrong way, right? And we'll rock like this. This comes down a lot better, so I've got to pay attention to where this looks in the balance of things. and this can come out a little bit before I set it. I think if I that's about there, that's about there. I think that's about the right spot. We can build that up. That's what I'm gonna do. Just gotta kind of make a decision quick, because not too quick. I mean, it's not like it's sitting in stone or anything, but I can. This up as my armpit hits the mic. Sorry about that. If I'm even on air anymore, I doubt it. What's this? Pauperganda Twitch. Oh well. I think Twitch just failed on me, that's all. So we've got a lot of, to match the other side, we're gonna have to build this area up. I wasn't thinking that through too much. I'll just build it up now. I'm not on TV anymore. Screw it. Maybe I am on TV anymore. Better watch what I say. I'm gonna get in trouble here. Alright. Bring this up like this. Bring this down here. I don't want to get too much water in here. Getting a little flimsy. Alright. It's just a slope. That side. And that's going to be a natural cut. Okay, let me see how this is looking here. Well, it's a bit of a slope. How flat do I want these to lay, huh? Oops. About like that. That's what I need. I need some stuff in the back here. Go on getting. Huh. Let's see from the top. Make sure everything's good. And we're still rocking and rolling. Oh boy, I'm getting pasty here. Okay, I've got that section set. Very merchant mask. Let's see, roll that out. Pinch this in. More of a swoop, isn't it? These are a little straighter than I put there. I think for the accentuation of angle I'm going for, I think that's a little superior than a straight look. That's the way it's shaping up to be. Now then, this has a little bit more bend and pull to it, doesn't it? Get this feed going here. So what's the flaw here? That's going back further. That's already set, so this can go back further. Will be a lot better for Let's bring this back further. Okay, I think we can live with that. I'm gonna hold this up, more water here. Alrighty, we're getting there. We're getting there. We just need to sloop. Let's get that chin going down. Is this the piece we need? Almost. Let's see that there. There's the chin. Doink. How pointy is it? It's not that pointy. I think we had that. We could go from there. Yeah. Accentuate that. Use this behind it. We'll do this here. Running out of stuff quickly. It'd be amazing if somehow I'm still broadcasting. It's like Twitch has died. It's like, and I refreshed in other monitors, nothing. So I'm hardwired into the internet, so very strange. Come on, where's our little pointy chin? Chinny chin chin. Put that there for the structural flaw of it all. Put this back here to support. More support, please. Boom boom. Come on, motherfucker. There we go. Ew. That's looking ugly. Bring this up. This down. This all around. Alright, I think I'm done feeding. Let's just cut some more bits. I don't need too many more. That should probably do it. All right. One big old dollop of mask sauce coming right up. think anyone's listening to me anymore, so that doesn't really need to be right there. Now we're getting somewhere. Boom, boom, boom. My feed died, bud. It's all right. I can't stop because I'm making a mask, so.
You still need the card?
No, it's on top of the thing, but I dripped on the sleeve, so I cleaned it off as quick as I could, but I just didn't want to put it back in there in case it was still. You might want to use another sleeve. See how messy it gets?
Oh,
sorry, buddy.
it's okay. It's like we already have those two black sleeves that are unopened still.
Yeah, see how it's starting?
And they're looking at her. Ooh, wow.
In there, right? See the mask right there? And we'll build up that side. That side. That's getting there. I think it's good enough to let set.
Gary should be a rare.
Yeah, it feels like a rare when it hits you, doesn't it?
You know what I found a really good card? The Dark Whisper Agent.
Dark Whisper Agent. I'm not sure I know that
I've
one.
actually seen it used in a lot of Pauper decks.
Yeah?
That are just mono black.
Oh, the Flash dude?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can play blue or black.
He's
So
pretty
good.
awesome, huh?
Yeah.
Just gonna put a little bit of a hook nose on this for structure. Thank you, Aaron. I said thanks for letting me use those. Those really helped the show.
Oh, yeah.
Did you want to go play today?
Like the magic shop?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. But, like, maybe at, like, 12 or 1.
You know what? How about we plan on being there kind of an all-nighter again? Unless you want to go to Aaron's sushi birthday party.
I mean, all the nighter at the magic shop seems...
Better. I mean, he'd love to see you, I know. But we'll talk it over with Mom Kate. Uh-huh.
I'll just say I've already been there.
Already been where? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, in the future.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, glad I thought of it.
Oh, Dad, guess what happened today?
What?
Playing arena. I did a glimpse of Ravnica draft. I won all 7 games.
Wow, that's hard to do, dude. Good job.
Yeah, that kind of redemption.
Yeah, it always feels good, huh? Amazing how your mind can fight you on stuff.
Because I'm listening to punch-up music.
Yeah, hey, man, if that's what works. There's a few soundtracks I listen to when I really want to zone in and play Crypt Gift.
Oh, this would be great for my commander deck. Have you ever heard of Elish Norn?
Yes,
Yes. So
the
8
Symbiote.
creatures your opponent's control get -2/-2. If I put that in my deck, you just can't play stuff.
Yeah, that's nuts. All right. And then for a bit. Thank you. I'm glad those weren't on camera. All right. Well, first things first. Let's clean up my mouse. I wanna leave in the bottom.